Chapter 1920. Noble but evil, crazy but restrained. Her face was ruined, but she was still breathtakingly beautiful. Such a contradiction was perfectly integrated in Ningxi's body. She gave Ghost a new life. Ghost quietly looked at the girl on the bed and sang in a very bewitching way. Let the dream begin. Let the darkness in your heart fade. Bow to my music. Bow to the power of the music of the night. Accompanied by the seductive voice, whether it was the fans at the scene, the audience in front of the TV, or the people watching the live broadcast, no matter men or women at this moment, all of them bowed down to the person on the stage. Ningxi's singing was not bad. It was a combination of traditional singing and popular singing, but there was still a gap when compared to absolute professional singing. However, the emotion contained in her voice was incomparable to any professional singer. She had completely integrated her acting skills into the music. After a little makeup, the low, hoarse and moving voice that belonged to a young man and a woman, and the enchanting half-face that disregarded gender were enough to make people go crazy. Just as the audience was intoxicated, the lights on the stage suddenly dimmed. When the lights came on again, Ghost had disappeared. Christine lay back in her room, as if all this was just a dream. The musical, which had originally received very little attention and acceptance by the public, had now completely attracted everyone's attention. Everyone was waiting with rapt attention for the next performance. The directors of the 4 major satellite TV stations received the notice almost at the same time. At this time, the ratings were rising rapidly, and it was expected to break the record of Starlight Night over the past 10 years. Needless to say, the popularity of the live broadcast of Starlight Night had soared to the first place. Following that, Christine and Ghost spent a period of time together like a teacher and a friend. Ghost secretly taught Christine how to sing, and removed all obstacles for Christine. She even did not hesitate to get injured and kill people to push her to the position of the female lead, however. All this in exchange for only Christine's fear, and her feelings for Raoul became more and more inseparable. After the accident on the stage, Christine and Raoul took advantage of everyone's panic and escaped to the roof. There, she told Raoul what had happened to her. And Raoul expressed his long-hidden love for Christina, and they sang, All I Ask of You, to express their love for each other. The spirit saw all of this, and it was pained by Raoul's obsession with Christina and Christina's betrayal. It decided to curse them. Finally, he could not take it anymore. In his anger, he cursed, and at the end of the performance of Faust, the giant chandelier on the stage fell on Christine, pouring out his anger and warning. At this point, the plot entered the second act. Half a year passed, and the haunting ghost never appeared again. The chandelier was repaired, and a fancy dress party was held in the theater to celebrate this new life. Christina and Raoul, who were secretly engaged, danced hand in hand in the crowd. Just as the fun was going on, a guest wearing a red death mask suddenly appeared. Everyone was shocked by this strange and scary costume. It was Spectre, who had been missing for a long time. Under Ghost's meticulous arrangement, he disguised himself as someone else and got the opportunity to share the stage with Christine. Chapter 1921. When Ningxi appeared in front of the audience again in such a demonic red outfit, the livestream website was flooded with comments of lick the screen, especially the song Can't Go Back, that the ghost was about to sing next. Put down all your defenses, obey me completely, take a step that can't go back, give up thinking. Let the dream continue, what a raging flame. Even the soul is drowned, what a sweet temptation lies in front of us. The fans in the audience went crazy as Ghost sang softly to Christine. Ah, obey. Brother she, I'm yours. My body, my heart, my soul, my everything is yours. I came here, writes hard to know why in my head. I've imagined it, our bodies are intertwined, I've decided take a step that can't go back anymore. Ah, oh my God. Our bodies are intertwined. Please let me come. Our game of passion is finally on. Don't think about right or wrong. The last question, how long do we have to wait to become one? When will our blood start to boil? When will the flame of passion devour us? Now. Brother she, please devour me. I'm lying flat. The comments in the live stream were overwhelming. Say you'll share everything with me or only love. Your whole life, guide me. Save me from my loneliness, save me. No matter where you go, take me with you. At the end of the song, Almost everyone was infected by the ghost's passionate and hopeless love for the female lead. Even if he was stubborn, even if he was unscrupulous, it was still heartbreaking. To him, the female lead was his everything. She was his only salvation. The truth was, Christine loved Raoul, and she loved the phantom. Between angel and demon, she lost herself. She kept swaying. She knew that he was dangerous and that he belonged to the darkness, but she couldn't help but get closer to him. On the stage of Don Juan, they got closer and finally hugged each other tightly. This song was like a foreshadowing that two people who shouldn't love each other would inevitably fall in love. Finally, the phantom sang to Christine the song that Raoul had sung to her as a pledge of love, alias of thee. The song woke Christine, and she recognized the phantom. When the female lead took off the ghost mask on the spot and saw through his identity, everyone didn't sigh in relief. Instead, they felt worried. On the stage, Ghost awkwardly avoided the female lead's line of sight. The other half of his face was completely exposed to the woman he loved the most. All the audience and fans felt extremely distressed. Because everyone's attention was on the stage at this moment, no one noticed that Ningxi's votes were getting closer and closer to Han Zixuan's. Although everyone's votes had almost been squeezed dry in the early stages, there were still some people who preferred to vote at the last moment. In addition, under the intense excitement, everyone spontaneously canvassed votes for each other in private. From their parents, friends, colleagues, to passers-by, the power of the masses could never be measured, as long as you had the strength. In the end, the ghost had completely lost its mind and tied Christine up in its underground chamber. Why? Why is the world so unfair to me? Just because I have a scary face, a face that even my mother can't bear to look at. The ghost trembled in extreme pain. Chapter 1922. Christine said agitatedly. No, it's not that the world is unfair to you. It's not that the world is wrong. It's that you've imprisoned your own inspiration. In order to achieve your goal, you're willing to kill people and take away someone else's love. I'm grateful for your help. But my feelings for you are now only hatred. Hearing these words, hearing the woman he loved say that he hated him, Ningxi's arrogant, angry, and jealous expression instantly became empty. He stood there alone, as if everything had lost its meaning to him. All the audience subconsciously straightened their backs. Their hearts tightened, and their nerves were extremely tense. At this moment Raoul appeared. Jiang Mai was very professional. He shouted, "Your Excellency, please let Christine go. I'm willing to do anything for you." Looking at the man who had taken away the girl he loved, the ghost lost control again. He used a special noose and wrapped it around Raoul's neck. "Ah, don't!" Christine cried out in alarm. The ghost looked at Christine, who was screaming nervously, and forced her to make a choice. "Now I'll give you two choices. Use Raoul's life in exchange for your freedom. If he's dead, I'll let you go. Or put on a wedding dress and become my bride in exchange for Raoul's life." Raoul was also deeply in love with Christine, and he said without hesitation, "Christine, don't agree to him. Don't marry this demon. If you say that you love him in order to save me, then my life will also end." At this moment, the audience and the fans in the live broadcast were all spamming the screen. "What the fuck are you waiting for? Of course, marry the ghost. Marry him. Marry him. If you don't want to marry him, let me do it." When Jiang Mai heard the urging from the audience, he almost vomited blood. Did girls nowadays like psychopaths and perverts? Damn it. Are you just going to watch me die? Where's your humanity? In the end, this deadlock. How can I solve it? This ungrounded musical had completely aroused everyone's interest. A small number of people who knew what was going to happen next were even more excited. They knew that there would be a kissing scene, a real kissing scene. Ha 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 ha. Faced with the choice given by the ghost, Christine fell into a painful struggle. In the end, she could not bear to see her lover, Raoul, sacrifice himself for her. Her helpless gaze suddenly became resolute. She finally mustered up the courage to raise her head and look at the spirit opposite her. She would tell Phantom how strong the power of love was. God would save his crazy soul in the end. The next second, Christine took a deep breath, took a few steps forward without warning, and gave Phantom a long kiss, although it was just a borrowed position. Qin Shuang's heartbeat was about to explode. and he almost used all his expertise to keep himself from losing his composure on the spot. The moment Ningxi was kissed, everyone at the scene was about to go crazy. The atmosphere reached an unprecedented peak. The viewership ratings of Guardian and the popularity of the live broadcast platform all broke all historical records at this moment. After a short performance, Ningxi's votes on the big screen almost caught up with Han Zixuan's. Suddenly, the girl he loved took the initiative to kiss Spectre. His wild and unruly expression suddenly turned blank. His originally gloomy and frightening face now made people feel that it was incomparably cute. Chapter 1923. A meaningful kiss, a redemptive question, like the light of the Creator in heaven, illuminated the closed heart of Ghost. In the end, he was completely subdued by the strength of Christina's firm love. At the last moment, because of a kiss, he finally understood that true love was not imprisonment or plunder. Ghost stepped back hurriedly and turned around to avoid the girl's sight. At the same time, he loosened the Punjabi sling around Raoul's neck. After a long time, he finally raised his hand with difficulty, waved at Christina and Raoul, and asked them to leave. Christina and Raoul rushed to each other in disbelief. Finally, Christina returned to Ghost, took off the ring that Ghost had put on her, and returned it to him. Ningxi looked at her palm and slowly closed it, wrapping the ring in her palm. Step by step, slowly and alone, she walked to the throne in the corner of the stage. She watched the two lovers leave and sang alone. "I feel so empty without you. What happened? You left me. I'm sorry, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to continue, but it's so hard. Am I wrong, or is this just a game? I can't believe you left me. I can't take another day alone. I can't forget you. This pain is going to break me, because we're over. I just want you back, I need you back. But I let you go. Now it's over." The music was getting farther and farther away, and the stage returned to darkness. Everyone felt like a heavy stone was pressing on their hearts, and they couldn't breathe. The last scene. Many years later, Christina had passed away. When Raoul went to the cemetery to pay his respects to her, he found a rose tied with a black ribbon on her grave. The play ended. Until the end of the performance, everyone was still immersed in the plot and couldn't react for a long time. It wasn't until a long time later that the audience burst into thunderous applause. The applause lasted for a long time. The host came to the stage at the right time. "I didn't expect Ningxi and Muyi to bring us such a big surprise." The solid performance and singing skills of the female lead, Qin Shuang, also brightened our eyes, bringing us an unparalleled audiovisual feast. "Now let's invite our three leads to the stage." Accompanied by the host's excited voice, Qin Shuang and Jiang Mai went on the stage one after another. Both of them were still in their costumes. In this drama, Qin Shuang's every outfit was gorgeous to the extreme. Her small face, which was originally too low-key and slightly bland, was set off by at least 7 or 8 points. Especially when she acted with Jiang Mai and Ningxi, the two big stars on the spot, she actually performed so well that she was instantly remembered in the hearts of the audience. Just now, there were already many people searching for information related to her. As for the orange that Jiang Mai was playing today, if Phantom was a devil, then Raoul, played by Jiang Mai, was an angel. He was a noble, but he fell in love with his childhood sweetheart, an orphan girl who grew up in the opera house. He loved her. He ran to the roof to confess his love to her. He went to the cemetery to call Christine, who was bewitched. He risked his life to go to the dungeon to save her. At the critical moment of life and death, he told her not to sacrifice her life for him. The ghost was crazy for Christine, but Raoul was willing to sacrifice his life for Christine's happiness. Chapter 1924. The two male leads in the drama were actually very outstanding, making it difficult to choose between them. Jiang Mai's character also attracted a large number of fans. Ningxi was even better. She only showed half of her face, and it was enough to make everyone go crazy. This was a 3-win situation. Because half of Ningxi's face was disfigured, it took her a long time to make special effects, so it was a little troublesome to remove her makeup at this time. After Qin Shuang and Jiang Mai had gone on stage, she slowly walked out from behind the curtain. She was still wearing the same elegant costume, but this time, she had removed the cloak and mask. After removing the disfiguring effects, her stunning face was completely revealed to the audience. Ah, brother Shi, brother Shi, brother Shi. Brother Shi, I want to bear your children. Facing the enthusiasm of the fans, Ningxi took the microphone from the MC and said softly, "Thank you everyone. Long time no see." These 4 words instantly ignited everyone's passion. Brother Shi, long time no see. Long time no see. Brother Shi, we missed you so much. Hubby, I love you. All these years, I've been keeping myself pure for you, waiting for you to come back. Can you do that? After Dreamseeker ended, Ningxi had indeed not appeared in front of everyone in men's clothing for far too long. What's more, every time Ningxi changed her outfit, it was as if she had a split personality. She became a completely different person. Her temperament and personality were completely different. It was no wonder that the fans were so excited. As soon as Ningxi got on the stage and said long time no see, the ranking on the big screen on the left suddenly changed. Ningxi's votes had surpassed Han Zixuan's, who had twice as many votes as hers, and it was still rising. Han Zixuan and Zheng Anru had been paying attention to the list. When they saw that Ningxi had surpassed them, their expressions changed. What's wrong with you guys? How could she surpass such a high number of votes? Does Zhao Wenliang have any emergency measures? No matter how calm Han Zixuan was, she couldn't help but panic when she saw the leaderboard on the big screen. Zheng Anru wiped her sweat. I was too ruthless in the beginning. Now I don't have any banknotes on hand. It's too late to collect some at the last minute. Damn it. Su Tao, that bastard, was simply too sinister. He actually used this move. This was clearly a list of female stars. What did Ningxi mean by doing this? This was clearly against the rules. I'm going to complain to the organizer. Han Zixuan's expression was extremely cold. You think the organizer doesn't know? Obviously, the host had communicated with Ningxi at the last moment and acquiesced to Ningxi's actions. They only needed popularity and popularity. Why would they care about what methods the artists used? They were too careless. They didn't expect that they would change their plan at the last moment. I was wondering why Ningxi's program was arranged so early. It turns out that she was waiting for us here. Our program is currently the finale, but I'm afraid it'll be too late by then. Why don't we move our program forward? That way, we can seize the time to pull in more votes. Zixuan, you've always appeared as a cold and aloof goddess. Now that you've broken through your image and performed a sexy dance, those men will definitely go crazy. Since Ningxi can catch female fans, let's catch male fans. Han Zixuan pondered for a long time. Although she still felt uncomfortable, she could only do this. Let's do as you say. Zheng Anru had a good plan, but she didn't expect that tonight, while Ningxi was flirting with the female fans, the male fans who had been turned gay were also crying. Chapter 1925. The program had a time limit. Each guest's performance was only 10 to 15 minutes. Because Ningxi's and Jiang Mai's programs were combined, they got half an hour of time. They streamlined the musical and adapted it to be more popular. With the perfect cooperation of the three, the half-hour show, which was originally long for the audience, was full of explosive points. Until the end, everyone still wanted more. After the three left the stage, everyone's eyes were still on them, especially Ningxi. Thank you very much for the wonderful performance that the three of you have brought to us. The audience in front of the TV and the live broadcast, please don't leave. There are more exciting performances waiting for everyone. I'll leave you in suspense first. I wonder if anyone can guess who the next one will be? Although the host tried his best to create a sense of mystery, it was not as attractive to the fans as Ningxi, who had already taken his seat in the VIP seats. The audience in the stands watched Ningxi walk down the stage, and then sit down in the VIP seats, whispering to Qin Shuang and Jiang Mai next to him. Obviously, he didn't do anything, but his every frown, smile, and word made people completely unable to move their eyes away. When the cameraman's lens occasionally swept to Ningxi's corner, the audience and the fans in front of the live broadcast all screamed excitedly, especially the fans in the live broadcast room. Great cameraman, please look at Brother Shi. Great cameraman. I want to look at my husband. Great cameraman, please do your best. At the same time, the lights on the stage dimmed, and only one beam hit the center of the stage. After a while, the dynamic music resounded throughout the banquet hall, filling everyone's eardrums. Dancers appeared one after another from behind the scenes, and the hot dance swept away the atmosphere in an instant. Under the stage, Ningxi sat there quietly with a completely different attitude from the stage. Because of the performance just now, his forehead and collarbone were slightly sweaty at the moment. What should we do? Because there were too many people who made suggestions, the cameraman looked at the reaction of the audience and fans, and was inevitably in a dilemma. At this time, the director on the side decisively ordered, "Add more shots to Ningxi." But the next program is Han Zixuan's. Do you need me to teach you such a small thing? Don't be too obvious. Can't you see the opportunity? Don't you know how to change the angle? The person on the stage said as if it was a common occurrence. When the cameraman heard the words from the walkie-talkie, they immediately understood. After the dancers on the stage blew up the stage for a short while, suddenly, with a dong sound, a square hole opened in the center of the stage where the light was shining, and a person jumped out from it. And the person who jumped from the ground to the stage was Han Zixuan. She was dressed in a black, tight-fitting leather suit, revealing her slender waist and fair, slender legs. She had a head of jet black wavy hair. She was a complete change from her usual noble goddess appearance. She was sexy and charming. This brand new look and hot dance immediately attracted the attention of the audience and fans. Han Zixuan's votes also increased at an instant. On the ranking list, Ningxi and Han Zixuan were chasing each other. Below the stage, Zhang Anru was so nervous that her heart was about to jump out of her chest. At this moment, when she saw that everyone's reaction was within her expectations, she revealed a relieved expression. She knew that this move would definitely work. At this time, the number one cameraman suddenly captured something. Because he was the closest to Ningxi, he immediately pointed the camera lens of the number one cameraman at Ningxi. The camera on the big screen suddenly switched to the corner where Ningxi and Jiang Mai were. Because Ningxi was wearing a heavy costume, she felt a little stuffy, so she stretched out her hand and unbuttoned the first button on her collar unhurriedly while watching the program on the stage. So handsome, so handsome, so handsome. My heart is going to burst. Hormones are bursting. Honey, you are so handsome. Keep unbuttoning, don't stop. Chapter 1926. In an instant, almost all the fans and audience turned their eyes back to Ningxi, and Ningxi's votes soared like a rocket. As for the ratings, there was no need to mention it. Looking at the soaring ratings, the director was so excited that his heart almost stopped. He didn't blame the number one cameraman who changed the close-up of Ningxi halfway. Instead, he was full of appreciation and changed his words on the spot. Not bad, not bad. Ahem. Actually, it's obviously okay. The cameraman didn't dare to be too obvious. Now that they got the director's approval, they immediately took more shots. When the number 10 cameraman was aiming at Han Zixuan, Ningxi was also in the frame. Under the stage, Jiang Mai, who was sitting next to Ningxi, was dumbfounded when he saw the sudden rise in the number of votes that Han Zixuan couldn't catch up with. Fuck. What the hell? Didn't you just unbutton one of the buttons? Is it worth it? Qin Xiaoshuang, do you think these fans are stupid? Qin Shuang didn't give Jiang Mai any response. Jiang Mai turned his head, and found that the little girl had already looked past him, and was staring at Ningxi. He held his heart and looked as if he was going to faint. Jiang Mai, because he was sitting next to Ningxi, and the two of them had clearly appeared in the camera together, but he had been completely ignored. This had never happened since he debuted. Didn't all the male stars become foils in front of him as soon as he appeared? How could he be defeated by a woman? So Jiang Mai couldn't bear it anymore. You just unbuttoned my shirt. Who doesn't know how to do that? Then he unbuttoned 3 buttons in a row. Ow! My. Jiang Mai's fans finally noticed their idol, and they began to scream one after another. After making such a big sacrifice, Jiang Mai finally got a little attention. Instead of being happy, he felt sad and stared sourly at someone who was sitting lazily on the seat. Ningxi noticed his gaze and glanced at the golden-haired guy beside her. Suddenly, she showed a thoughtful expression. Jiang Mai's hair stood on end. What are you worried about? Ningxi propped her head up and looked at him. She smiled and said faintly, I'm suddenly thinking, what would you look like if you cross-dress? Fuck. You actually fantasized about me wearing women's clothing. It was simply insane. Jiang Mai's hair stood on end. He covered his chest like a little wife. Ning Xiaoxi, you pervert. Although the fans and audience didn't know the content of the conversation between Ningxi and Jiang Mai, the lively and loving way they interacted with each other, and Jiang Mai's expression of being bullied to the point that he was on the verge of breaking down, were simply the perfect portrayal of a black-bellied attacker and its tsundere. Invisibly, the Fujoshi fans, who were the most powerful bodyguards, were all fired up. Ah, how loving. My Mu Yi is so cute when he gets angry. What a clear distinction between attack and defense. Brother Shi, attack my face. Mu Yi will definitely accept it. I really want to know what they're talking about. I know. I fucking recorded it and looked at the lips several times. Brother Shi said he wants to see what Mu Yi looks like in women's clothes. Oh. Brother Shi is so awesome. I also want to know what my husband looks like in women's clothes. Below the stage, Jiang Mai was watching the live broadcast on his mobile phone. His face was almost as black as the bottom of a pot. Fuck. Who the hell is the one who is on the defense? I'm on the offense. Chapter 1927. Although the canvassing for votes had been very intense in the past few days, there were still some people who preferred to keep their votes until the end, and a large number of passers-by simply didn't bother to vote. But now, when their emotions were completely aroused, these votes were squeezed out in an instant. Not to mention the powerful force of the fans who were spontaneously canvassing for votes. Xinghui had been trying to find a way, but he couldn't keep up with the speed of Ningxi's votes on the stage. Han Zixuan danced until she was drenched in sweat, performing all kinds of sexy and explosive movements. Glancing out of the corner of her eye, she found that her votes had been completely crushed by Ningxi, and the audience didn't seem to be cheering and screaming for her. At this moment, she suddenly realized something was wrong. When she turned around because of a dance movement, she was shocked to see that the big screen behind her was actually a close-up of Ningxi, not her. Han Zixuan's face turned pale in an instant, and her feet moved in a mess. Seeing this, Zhang Anru's face also changed in anxiety. Damn it! What are those people doing backstage? This is Zixuan's show. Where are the cameras? Then what was even more tragic was that, even though Han Zixuan had made such a serious mistake, no one noticed. Both were flirting, but Han Zixuan's way and Ningxi's way, in contrast, were clearly superior. The former was too deliberate and sculpted, which made people feel that it was boring, while Ningxi's actually I didn't want to flirt with you at all flirted with both men and women unknowingly, making everyone crazy. Even a subtle movement or a look could make people's hearts tremble. Finally, on the stage Han Zixuan's show ended. And on the big screen on the left, Ningxi's votes had actually exceeded Han Zixuan's by more than 2 times. And she was far ahead on both lists. This performance was obviously Han Zixuan's trump card to canvass votes, and the order was deliberately adjusted from the finale to the beginning, but it completely sent her to hell. Looking at the absolutely unsurpassable votes, Zhang Anru stood up abruptly, then fell back down in a daze, her face full of disbelief. This is impossible. How is this possible? Amazing. Brother Shi, your votes have overtaken her. And by a lot. And it's still increasing. Qin Xiaoshuang had been paying close attention to Ningxi's votes, and was very excited at this moment. This was simply a miracle. The person in front of him always had a way to accomplish the impossible. As long as he was by her side, he would feel at ease. Jiang Mai glanced at Qin Shuang's eyes. Holding his chin, the corner of his mouth slightly twitched. Well, you hooked up with another one, you scourge. Although he was very jealous, seeing that Ningxi finally occupied the list with him, Jiang Mai was quite proud. TSK. This list is so cool. Popular male star number 1. Jiang Mai National Prince Charming number 1. Jiang Mai the male star I want to sleep with most. Jiang Mai popular female star number 1. Ningxi national goddess number 1. Ningxi the 5 most influential lists were all occupied by Shengshi Entertainment. As for Lu Tingxiao, who was as stable as Mount Tai on the national husband number 1, he was definitely one of them. However, soon, Jiang Mai couldn't show off anymore. With the end of Han Zixuan's program and the start of others' programs, Ningxi's votes also rose quietly on some other lists that were originally impossible. Chapter 1928. However, the screen on the left only showed the top 10 names. Hence, no one noticed it for the time being. The fans and passers-by were also not aware of it. Meanwhile, backstage, Zheng Anru was furious. Damn it, Zhao Wenliang, that idiot. Why didn't he have a backup plan? They can only watch as Ningxi's votes skyrocket and they can't do anything about it. Han Zixuan could no longer maintain her composure. She threw the bottle of mineral water that her assistant passed to her. The assistant's head was red from the blow. She said carefully, "They must have rigged the votes. How else could it have risen so quickly?" Although they knew that it was impossible for Golden Era to do that, it was still easier to accept than Han Zixuan's lack of skills. "Call the company." Han Zixuan cursed. Zheng Anru was panicking backstage. She immediately dialed the PR department's number and roared, "Zhao Wenliang, think of something right now. I don't care what you do. Don't forget that CEO Wang said that Zixuan must be the first in the female leaderboard. It can only be Zixuan. Think about the consequences if you make a mistake this time." Zhao Wenliang, on the other end of the phone, was also extremely busy. He had just been scolded by Wang Haojuan and Ning Xuelua when Zheng Anru called him again. He was furious. "Zheng Anru, do you think I'm a god? Ningxi is sitting on the VIP seat and doing nothing, but the votes keep skyrocketing. What the hell can I do?" Just as Zheng Anru and Zhao Wenliang were arguing on the phone, Zheng Anru noticed that Ningxi's votes had slowed down on the big screen. It was even showing signs of stopping. Zheng Anru was overjoyed. "It's stopping. I knew it. It's finally rising. Zhao Wenliang, hurry up and take action." Zhao Wenliang had naturally noticed it as well. He said angrily, "Action my ass. You think you can overtake her just because you want to? Take a look at the difference in the votes. Even if it stops, there's no way we can overtake her. We took 6 whole days to get those votes. How can we get so many votes in such a short time? Instead of keeping an eye on me, I might as well let Zixuan find a way to let her fans vote for her." Zheng Anru glanced at Han Zixuan with a gloomy expression. How could she come up with a solution in such a short time? Even that explosive show just now was useless. Could it be that they had to fight for another program from the organizers? Just as Zheng Anru and Zhao Wenliang were haggling and arguing, the little assistant stared at the ranking list on the big screen not far away. She suddenly covered her mouth and exclaimed, Oh my God! What's going on? What are you yelling for?" Zheng Anru asked impatiently. The assistant pointed at the list and said excitedly, "Sister Anru, look at the list of male stars. Why did Ningxi's name suddenly appear on the male celebrity list? Is there something wrong with the system?" Zheng Anru had no time to care about Zhao Wenliang at the other end of the phone. She hurriedly checked her phone, only to find that Ningxi's name was really on the men's list. Popular male star number 10 Ningxi. Nation's Prince Charming number 9, Ningxi. The male star I want to sleep with most, Ningxi. What the hell? Was he crazy? How could Ningxi appear on the men's list? Such a blatant shady deal. This is a shady deal. Zheng Anru was dumbfounded. Chapter 1929. Just then, Zhao Wenliang's voice was calmer than Zheng Anru's, who was completely out of control. "It's not rigged. It's possible for a female celebrity to appear on the male celebrity list, or a male celebrity to appear on the female celebrity list. Because many of the rankings allow both men and women to be on the list, other than the newcomer ranking, all the other rankings have the same list of candidates. In the past, there have been fans who deliberately voted this way for fun, but the number of votes is very small. There has never been such a mess, but this time. Even so, they can't be so reckless. They're simply messing around. Isn't the organizer going to do anything about it? Zheng Anru said angrily. Zhao Wenliang said in a low voice. There's nothing in the organizer's rules that says it's not allowed. In fact, the organizer set it up this way to make it more interesting. Then contact CEO Wang and ask him to put pressure on the organizer. Accuse her of cheating and breaking the rules. Or just say that she manipulated the votes. Make sure that she can't get on any of the rankings. I don't believe that there's no way to deal with her. The problem with the female celebrity list had not been solved yet, and now there was a problem with the male celebrity list. Zheng Anru was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. Zhao Wenliang knew the organizer's character very well. Things were not as simple as Zheng Anru made them out to be. However, he could only give it a try. After all, the rankings this time were indeed very important, and it was the same for him personally. If things went wrong again, he would be the first one to take the blame. Wang Haojuan and Ning Xuelua had the right to attend the banquet tonight. Ning Xuelua was not present because of Su Yan's matter, but Wang Haojuan had been sitting in his seat the whole time. He had already witnessed everything with his own eyes. Without needing Zhao Wenliang's reminder, he had already secretly invited the person in charge to a secret place behind the stage. Wang Haojuan lit a cigarette for Qin Zhen and patted him on the shoulder, as if he was one of his own. Producer Qiao, isn't it a little too reckless for this female celebrity to get on the male celebrity list? Xiao Zhen, the chief planner of Entertainment Light and the chief producer of Starry Night, looked at the person who had just arrived. He already knew Wang Haojuan's intentions even without the other party saying anything. He said, CEO Wang, the rules of the ranking list are the same every year. I'm sure you're aware of it. Although this has never happened in the past, the rules do allow it. Because of Ning Shi, the Starlight Knight, this time had reached an unprecedented level of popularity. He couldn't wait to see it, so how could he ruin his own show? At the end of the day, there were no eternal friends in this circle, only eternal interests. Wang Haojuan looked at the wily old fox in front of him. How could he not know what he was thinking? Seeing that there was not much time left, he could only grit his teeth, stretch out his hand, and show a number. Then he said, remove all of Ningxi's names from the list. After this is done, I will give you this amount. When Xiao Zhen saw the number that Wang Haojuan pointed out, his eyes immediately lit up. Then his expression changed. However, just as he was hesitating, he inadvertently glanced at the real-time ranking on the big screen through the narrow door gap. He would not have known if he had not seen it, but when he saw it, he was shocked. In the short time that he was talking to Wang Haojuan, Ningxi's ranking on the male celebrity list had already reached the top 5. The most wanted to sleep with male celebrity in the entertainment circle list had even reached the top 3, and the rankings were still rising. Chapter 1930. This time, everyone knew that Starlight Entertainment had given all their resources to Han Zixuan. Hence, the votes on the male leaderboard were far less than the female leaderboard. Hence, it was much easier for them to overtake the female leaderboard. However, Ningxi continued to overtake the male leaderboard after overtaking the female leaderboard. Everyone was shocked. The change in the leaderboard was naturally seen by everyone. The fans in the live stream and the audience were all pumped up. When they saw that the female leaderboard had topped the male leaderboard, they followed suit and began to smash the male leaderboard. This caused the votes to increase faster and faster. After seeing the leaderboard, Xiao Zhen was unsure. After all, the rules were there and Ningxi did not break any rules. If they listened to Wang Haojuan and forcefully smeared Ningxi's reputation, Starlight would definitely be drowned by everyone's spittle. Seeing this, Wang Haojuan gestured another number and raised the price again. Qin Guan's expression clearly froze, and a greedy light shone in his eyes. He could not help but think that such a huge sum of money would be enough for the rest of his life, even if he lost his position as the executive producer. Just when Qin Guan was in a dilemma, he suddenly received a call on his phone. CEO Wang, I have an important call. Please wait for a moment. Qin Guan's expression changed when he saw the caller ID. He told Wang Haojuan to wait for a moment, and quickly hid in a corner. Wang Haojuan looked at Qin Guan's expression, and had an inexplicable bad feeling. Who would be calling at this time? At that moment, Qin Guan hid in a corner and answered the call even though the person on the other end could not see him. Ahem, that. Second young master. I'm really flattered that you have time to call me today. I'm really flattered. As soon as he finished speaking, a lazy voice came from the other end of the phone. The person on the other end went straight to the point. No matter how much Wang Haojuan gives you, I'll pay you 10 times. Fuck. 10 times. Qin Guan was almost crushed to death by the number. However, how could he dare to accept it? The person who called him was Lu Jingli himself. Damn it, didn't Lu Jingli return to the company a long time ago? He did not even ask about what happened to Golden Age Entertainment. How could it be? Recently, he heard that there was a big change in the management of Golden Age. Could it be that Lu Group was taking over Golden Age again? Qin Guan immediately made a decision. Ahem, second young master, I don't understand what you're talking about. CEO Wang didn't even look for me. Even if he did, we'll definitely do everything according to the rules. Don't worry. Qin Guan changed his words without hesitation. What a joke. Between Starlight and Lu Enterprises, did he even need to choose? On the other end of the phone, Lu Jingli chuckled. Producer Qin is indeed a smart man. Second young Qin, you're too much. After hanging up, Qin Guan wiped his sweat as if he had just survived a disaster. Then he immediately went back and flatly rejected Wang Haojuan. CEO Wang, it's really not that I don't want to help you this time. You also saw the current situation. Ningxi is completely in line with everyone's expectations. What about breaking the rules and manipulating votes? It's completely untenable. If you are you and you I Emperor. So, President Wang, forgive me for not being able to help you this time. Let's be fair and just and follow the rules. If Zixuan also has a way to get on the male star ranking, then I will definitely treat everyone equally without a second word. Chapter 1931. After Qin Guan said this, he didn't even wait for Wang Haojuan's reply. He just said that he was busy and left in a hurry. Producer Qin. Wait. Damn it. Wang Haojuan did not expect. Qin Guan, who was obviously wavering, suddenly changed his attitude after a phone call. He said firmly that everything would be done according to the rules. Wang Haojuan kicked the wall in anger. Damn it. What was going on? Golden Era was already in such a state. What else could possibly change Qin Guan's mind? Or did the higher-ups of Starlight foresee something and specifically warn Qin Guan? In all fairness, he knew that the matter this time was indeed too thorny. Wang Haojuan glanced at the leaderboard behind him with a dark expression. The next second his pupils shrank. Ningxi was already in the top 3 of the leaderboard for male stars. Almost all the fans in the live stream channel were spontaneously canvassing for votes for Ningxi. Not to mention the huge group of fans and passers-by that they could not see. Now that the banquet was coming to an end, the ratings were still high. That showed how much attention they were getting. Who would have thought that in a short span of less than 4 hours, such a huge change would occur? All of his emergency measures were already too late. Below the stage, Jiang Mai looked at Ningxi's crazily soaring ranking on the leaderboard. She was getting closer and closer to his number 1 position. He was completely dumbfounded. His worldview had been turned upside down. At this moment, he wanted to grab someone's shoulders and shake them violently. Fuck. Ning Xiaoxi. I fucking asked you to join me in the leaderboard, not to kill indiscriminately. To be honest, Ningxi did not expect this to happen. She had forgotten that some of the leaderboards in Entertainment Light did not differentiate between men and women. She did not expect the fans to put her on the leaderboard. So this time, Jiang Mai had wronged her. As they spoke, the real-time leaderboard was number 3 popular male star, Ningxi. Number 3 popular male star, Ningxi. Number 1 popular male star in the entertainment circle, Ningxi. Jiang Mai looked at the most sleepy male star leaderboard that had been overtaken and was instantly enraged. Fuck. This doesn't make sense. Ever since the leaderboard was created, my most sleepy male star has always been the champion. This time, I can't even keep my chastity and was overtaken by a woman. Although the first 2 were more valuable, the third one was related to a man's dignity. Ningxi looked at the sleepmost list. She was the first to jump to the first place. She raised her eyebrows slightly and could only comfort him. Well, at least you don't have to post anymore. I'd rather take a nude photo, okay? Even if I'm naked, I'm fine with it. Jiang Mai cried. In the end, Jiang Mai directly logged into his main account under extreme resentment and anger. He entered the live video website and began to flood the screen. Jiang Mai had special privileges. As soon as they entered, everyone received a beautiful special effect notification. Jiang Mai. Why don't you want to sleep with me the most? Why? Is there any love left? Jiang Mai asked. Are you tired of sleeping? Jiang Mai yelled. You shameless, heartless, and unreasonable little goblins. When the sharp-eyed fans saw Jiang Mai in person, they couldn't stop laughing. Who are you and brother Shi? It doesn't matter who is first. Ha 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 Mai, you'd better be suppressed this time. There's no other way. It's too obvious. Mai, look at the one at the bottom. Chapter 1932. What was even more amazing was that there were even fans who were watching the commotion and didn't mind the matter getting out of hand. I'm begging you to wear women's clothes. As long as you wear women's clothes, we promise you'll be on the women's list. Ao agreed. Jiang Mai's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Fuck your bottom. Fuck your cross-dressing. Who wants to wear women's clothes? You perverts. What's the use of him on the women's list? His reputation would be ruined. He would rather die than wear it. Jiang Mai went to the live broadcast room. When he came out, he was even more desperate to find Ningxi had surpassed the second place on the national husband list. Ningxi's ranking was just below Lu Tingxiao's. Ningxi naturally saw her own ranking. After looking at it for a long time, she seemed to have thought of something and a glimmer of light flashed across her eyes. Jiang Mai suddenly had a bad feeling when he saw Ningxi's strange look. What do you want to do? Ningxi looked at Jiang Mai and sighed. I'm sorry. What do you mean by sorry? What do you want to do? Jiang Mai was about to collapse. Sorry for her sweetheart. For the sake of being on the top with his sweetheart's name. She was going to value her lover more than her friends. She was going to make a big move. At the same time, all the performances on the stage had ended. It was time to canvass for votes. The host couldn't wait to invite all the guests to the stage. Now there was only one last fight left. The artists came forward one by one according to the names they drew. Thank you for voting for me. Although my ranking has not improved, I'm very satisfied. Thank you for your support. Thank you to every fan who likes me. Thank you. I'll work harder next year. As a newcomer, I'm really excited that so many people like me. I hope you can continue to vote for me. I won't let you down. One by one, they canvassed for votes. Finally, it was Han Zixuan's turn. Han Zixuan must have gone backstage to discuss the last resort. They didn't know what they would do this time. Thinking of this, Su Tao, Jiang Mai, and the others held their breath. At this moment, Han Zixuan's expression was no longer as out of control and flustered as before. She changed back into her goddess costume and stood calmly in front of the stage. She didn't directly ask for votes like the others. Instead, she calmly said, taking advantage of today's occasion, I want to share a piece of good news with everyone. After Under the Heavens, I just received an invitation from the famous Hollywood producer, Juz, to participate in the production of their new film. This also means that my career will embark on a new journey. Of course, everything I have now is inseparable from everyone's support. Thank you all very much. Without all of you, I, Han Zixuan, wouldn't be here today. The moment Han Zixuan's voice fell, all the fans were shocked by the name of Hollywood producer Juz. He was the #1 producer in Hollywood and had produced countless well-known classic masterpieces. He rarely used Chinese people, let alone personally inviting Han Zixuan. Han Zixuan actually received an invitation from Juz? No one in the entire entertainment industry could have such glory. Although Han Zixuan didn't directly ask for votes, her votes increased rapidly because of this extremely explosive news. After all, people still subconsciously worship the strong. Chapter 1933. At this moment, Han Zixuan and Zheng Anru heaved a sigh of relief and looked at the rapidly rising number of votes with satisfaction. Even if she couldn't get on the male list, she had to surpass Ningxi on the female list. Even in the worst-case scenario, she had to get one of them. Soon it was Jiang Mai's turn. Jiang Mai's declaration was very simple and straightforward. As long as you get the first place on the 3 lists, I'll agree to any of your requests. Damn it, I'm going all out. With a burst of screams, Jiang Mai's number of votes began to rise crazily. Even the number of people who wanted to sleep with the most began to surpass Ningxi. I want kisses, hugs, and kisses. Can I have sex? There are so many of us. My husband will die of exhaustion. Seeing this, Jiang Mai didn't even care about being squeezed dry. He glanced at Ningxi beside him proudly. Humph. You want to fight with me? I've eaten more salt than you've eaten. No matter what, I'll save his dignity first. Ningxi's speech followed Jiang Mai's. For a moment, everyone held their breath and stared at the beautiful woman in the middle of the stage. At the same time, Han Zixuan and Starlight Entertainment were fighting desperately. Han Zixuan's votes were trying to overtake Ningxi. Obviously, Starlight Entertainment was going to keep the first place on the list of popular female stars. The gap between Han Zixuan and Ningxi was getting smaller and smaller. On the male list, the gap between the first, second, and third places was not big. The competition was very fierce. Next, let's welcome Brother Shi to start his speech. I wonder what he will say to our audience and fans. The hostess looked at Ningxi at a close distance, her heart beating fast. Everyone was wondering what Ningxi would do and what she would say. Han Zixuan had gone all out this time. She didn't expect that she would reveal such a shocking news at this time. At this moment, Ningxi was still in that luxurious medieval British costume. But because it was too hot just now, 2 buttons had been undone, and the sweat that had stained his hair was slightly messy, which added a bit of casualness and laziness to him. At this moment, under everyone's nervous, expectant, and breathless gazes, Ningxi placed her fingers on her collar and buttoned up the 2 loose buttons one by one until the first button of her collar revealed only half of her fair neck. It was just an extremely small detail. His gaze was just a little deeper, but his entire temperament changed in an instant. It was as if he had turned from an evil phantom into a completely different person. He was like a king who had been abstinent in an ancient castle for thousands of years, waiting for his lover. Then he bowed slightly, gave a noble and elegant gentleman's bow, and said softly to everyone, "Thank you." After a strange 3 seconds of silence, deafening screams erupted at the scene. What's the difference between a person who can't sleep with Brother Shi and a salted fish? Hubby, I don't want kisses, hugs, kisses, or sex. I just want you to look at me in the crowd. Isn't it just a ticket? Here you go. Here you go. All for you. My heart, my love, my soul, and my virginity are all yours. There was no emotional speech, no explosive news, just an action and a thank you. On the big screen, popular male star number 1, Ningxi. National male god number 1, Ningxi. Most wanted to sleep with male star number 1, Ningxi. Popular female star number 1, Ningxi. National goddess number 1, Ningxi. Chapter 1934. This is impossible. Below the stage, Zheng Anru stood up abruptly. Han Zixuan's face was even paler. Damn it. Why was it that even after doing so much, she still couldn't compare to this outdated actress who only knew how to take advantage of the situation? At this moment, looking at the ranking on the big screen, Jiang Mai felt as if he had been fucked by a dog. Damn it, he didn't even hesitate to sell his body, but he still couldn't compare to this bastard who buttoned up a few buttons? Where was the justice? What kind of fucking species was he competing with? What Jiang Mai didn't expect was that there was something even more heart-wrenching to come. As time slowly approached midnight, the results of the 6th ranking came out. The national husband ranking for the whole of China was as follows. Number 1, Lu Tingxiao. Number 2, Ningxi. There were a total of 12 big and small rankings on Entertainment Light, and the number 1 in the top 6 rankings was Ningxi. 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 Lu Tingxiao. Jiang Mai looked at the two names that stood side by side. Seeing the couple occupying half of the rankings, he spat out a mouthful of blood on the spot. This was definitely the most miserable time he had ever been abused by the two of them. This dog food was toxic. At the same time, Dear Town, Lu Jingli and Lu Tingxiao were both sitting in front of the TV, watching the live broadcast. Xiao Bao had to go to school, so he reluctantly went to bed. At this moment, Lu Tingxiao was staring at the screen with his head tilted, his expression focused. Lu Jingli was holding popcorn and a bunch of snacks in his hands, wailing with his fans from time to time. Oh no, he's gay. Sister-in-law is going to explode from the fall. My dear brother, if I didn't know your sexual orientation, I would really suspect that you're actually gay. Whoa. I simply can't imagine what will happen when our precious little treasure gathers the genes of the two of you together. Lu Jingli chattered nonstop. He was so worried that his heart was broken. Finally, after the 10-second countdown, it was time for the ranking to be officially released. Lu Jingli held his breath and stared at the chips in his hand. When he saw the final result, his face stiffened, and he immediately threw away the chips in his hand, hugging his head and crying. I can't live like this anymore. Sister-in-law was too cruel. She must have done it on purpose. Why did he get humiliated while watching an award ceremony? Do they even have any humanity left? As for Lu Tingxiao, he looked at the name on the big screen on the television. He looked at the girl bowing and thanking him on the stage. His expression was as gentle as water. His girl was always able to surprise and move him. In the face of this result, Ningxi's fans were probably the most excited. The live stream was full of cheers, and many passers-by were infected by such an atmosphere. Aha! Hubby is mighty and domineering. Brother, she will rule the pugilistic world for 10,000 years, and have a harem of 30 million. I hope to see my king rule the world in my lifetime. Below the stage, Qin Guan looked at the shocking rankings results and the reactions of the live audience and fans. He silently wiped away his sweat and could not help but feel extremely lucky. Fortunately, he was not blinded by Wang Haojuan's money. His career had been stagnant for a long time, and after this issue his reputation would definitely rise. In the future, would he still have to worry about not having the opportunity to earn big money? He was the one who came up with the idea of not distinguishing the male and female shortlists. Chapter 1935. Oh my God! This result is so shocking. We have never seen such an amazing result since the entertainment honor roll was held. On the stage, the host kept talking excitedly. In the warm atmosphere, the winners went on the stage and turned to receive their awards. The trophy for the male rankings was given first. Ningxi alone got 3. Yes, the 3 that Jiang Mai swore he would kill. Below the stage, Jiang Mai, who didn't even get a single ranking, began to doubt his life. Fuck, I'm quitting the entertainment circle. I can't survive in this circle. Lei Ming coughed and comforted him. Ahem, actually second place is not bad. How is it good to be beaten by that bastard? Look at what these little bastards are saying in the live broadcast room. Am I worthy? How am I worthy? Jiang Mai roared. As for Su Tao, he was grinning from ear to ear, looking like a die-hard fan. Oh hee, my queen is simply too awesome. I didn't expect that my luck would finally turn for the better. This golden thigh was too big. Ningxi, congratulations on defeating all our handsome guys and sweeping the top 3 rankings. You even got the second place as the nation's husband. How do you feel now that you are on the same list as God Lu? On the stage, the host asked with great interest. Although Lu Tingxiao couldn't receive such a small ranking, the host wouldn't let go of this gimmick, so he specifically mentioned it. Ningxi raised her eyebrows. Well, on the same list as Lu Tingxiao, it was hard to describe how she felt. Subtle. She felt like she was slapped in the face. After all, not long ago, she complained to Lu Tingxiao that she had too many rivals in love. Ningxi thought about her words and replied, "It's my honor to be on the same list as God Lu." What she didn't say was, "Our names will always be on the same list as long as I'm alive." Below the stage, although Su Tao and Lei Ming didn't know about the relationship between Ningxi and Lu Tingxiao, Liang Feixing and Jiang Mai were full of dog food. Soon it was time for the female rankings to give out the awards. At this time, Su Tao and the others noticed the spam in the live broadcast and found some discordant voices. What the hell was Entertainment Light doing? He actually let a woman take the male ranking. This is simply reckless. Putting aside the male leaderboard, the female leaderboard is also completely unfair. No matter what, the most popular female star and national goddess should be Zixuan, okay? That's right. Zixuan was the real goddess. Were these people blind? What's so good about Ningxi, who is neither a man nor a woman? Needless to say, it was obvious that Starlight was behind this. Jiang Mai, who had been complaining about Ningxi a moment ago, immediately began to protect her again when he saw these nasty comments. Humph, a group of stupid humans. He didn't look worried at all. He was waiting for these people to be slapped in the face. Now the Best Newcomer Award, Most Outstanding Artist Award, have all been given out. At this moment, we are going to present the trophy to our popular female star and national goddess. Because both awards were won by our movie queen Ningxi, we decided to award them at once. Next, let's welcome Ningxi to the stage. Accompanied by the host's enthusiastic voice, a person slowly walked out from the backstage. A white figure slowly walked into everyone's line of sight from the hazy lights backstage, until that person was completely standing under the magnesium lights. The audience fell silent. At this moment, the indolent and noble king had already changed out of the men's clothes and returned to his original appearance. Chapter 1936. At this moment Ningxi was not wearing the sack, but one of Zeiling's most treasures, Goddess Luo. After all, Jiang Mai was a straight man. When he saw Ningxi in women's clothes, his face changed immediately. His ears turned slightly red and his eyes became hot. However, he didn't show it on his face. He just held his chin and murmured, "Humph. Boring. No suspense. It's like a full-level orange weapon slaughtering the novice village." Strength was always the best way to shut people up. As soon as Ningxi showed up, all the discordant voices disappeared. The sporadic vulgarities were all drowned by the crowd and scolded by Ningxi's fans. "Ah. The goddess is so beautiful. Mom, what should I do? I don't know whether I like men or women anymore. Can you tell me which shop the goddess is wearing? I've never seen it before. It's much better than Han Zixuan's, okay? Han Zixuan's dress is beautiful, but it's like a nouveau riche." I know. It's Zeiling. The goddess is Zeiling's loyal fan. Don't you know? When the goddess attended the anniversary celebration of Shengshi Entertainment, she wore Zeiling's most treasured dress, All Beings. When she attended the Golden Palm Awards, she wore Zeiling's famous work, Nirvana. Now she's wearing the second most treasured dress, Goddess Luo. It was designed by Zeiling's chief designer and Song Jin, a master of traditional Chinese painting. There's more. The pure white cheongsam that Brother Shi wore when he made his comeback was from Zeiling's Return to Simplicity collection that was released not long ago. I've never seen the gown that he wore on the red carpet. I'm guessing that it's a new collection that hasn't been released yet. I was wondering. It's Zeiling. It was very popular back then. Many new styles have been released recently, and they're all very beautiful. Some die-hard fans explained in detail all the styles of Zeiling gowns that Ningxi had worn since her debut. For a while, Zeiling reappeared in the eyes of the public. It was completely a free publicity and marketing, and the effect was excellent. So far, tonight's starry night was finally over, and Xing Hui had completely lost any chance to turn the situation around. Late at night, in the hospital, Ning Xuelua had already received the notice from the company. She sat on the sofa with an annoyed look on her face. "You're useless." After spending so much money and resources, they still couldn't beat Ningxi, who was on the verge of bankruptcy. However, she no longer had the energy to deal with the problem of Starlight. She had more important things to do. Ning Xuelua looked at the phone impatiently, waiting for the doctor's diagnosis. A moment later, a middle-aged female doctor in her 40s or 50s wearing a white coat finally walked in from outside. The female doctor looked at Ning Xuelua and her expression did not look too good. "Madam Su, your examination results are out. Ning Xuelua's face darkened when she saw the doctor's expression. Still not pregnant? The female doctor nodded awkwardly. Yes, he quickly comforted her. Mrs. Su, don't worry. You're still young. You've only been married to your husband for more than a year. There will be many opportunities to have children in the future. There's no rush. Ning Xuelua sneered in her heart. No hurry? If she didn't hurry, she would lose her position as Mrs. Su. Chapter 1937. The Night of Starlight had come to an end. This time, Golden Era had won the battle beautifully. Of course, some people obviously didn't think so. In the makeup room backstage. You value your lover over your friend. Inhumane. Ning Xiaoxi. Our friendship has come to an end. Jiang Mai was enraged. She must have done it on purpose. She sold him out just for the sake of showing off her love. She sat in front of the dressing table and took off her earrings. She glanced at Jiang Mai from the corner of her eye in the mirror and said softly, I told you that she would let you have her. You were the one who didn't want it. After saying that, she sized up a certain golden retriever meaningfully. Jiang Mai's facial features were very delicate and perfect. If he really put on makeup and dressed up as a girl. Tizke, Jiang Mai's hair stood on end when Ningxi looked at him so blatantly. Dress up as a girl, my ass. Ning Xiaoxi, I'll kill you if you dare to do anything to me again. Ningxi sighed. Her expression was obviously regretful. At this moment, someone knocked on the door. Come in. Ningxi said as she subconsciously looked in the direction of the door. Then, when she saw who it was, she was a little surprised. The man was dressed in a black suit and held a bouquet of very special flowers in his hand. The flowers were pinkish white and looked like the lock of the medieval European nobles. It seemed to be a special flower that only the Geneva Botanical Garden of Country R would grow. Congratulations. Li Mayan handed the bouquet over like a gentleman. Ningxi quickly stood up and took the flowers. Mr. Li. Thank you. I happen to have an appointment with the ambassador of Country R at a nearby clubhouse. I accidentally saw the live broadcast and learned that you had an important event tonight. I took the liberty to come. I hope I didn't disturb you. Li Mayan briefly explained his purpose of coming. Ningxi smiled. Of course not. You're too kind. I like the flowers very much. Thank you. The fragrance of the flowers was very special. It was a little similar to acacia and pear, like the softness of early summer in Jiangnan. This is the star magnolia from Country R. I only found out about it at the last minute, so I came here directly with the ambassador of Country R. Li Mayan said. Ningxi naturally knew that Li Mayan was joking. She was a little surprised that Li Mayan could make jokes. However, it was normal for someone in his position to know all kinds of things. At this time, when Jiang Mai saw this strange man who suddenly appeared, he immediately changed from a golden retriever to a lion. His eyes were full of vigilance. By the way, this is a senior in my company, Jiang Mai, Ningxi introduced. Li Mayan. Li Mayan extended his hand, introduced himself, and said, I've long heard of your name, Mr. Jiang. Mr. Jiang is very famous in China, and my cousin is also his fan. He sure knows how to talk. Jiang Mai stretched out his hand perfunctorily and shook her hand. You're welcome. Li Mayan didn't stay for long. After exchanging a few pleasantries, he left. As soon as he left, Jiang Mai immediately rushed to Ningxi and asked, Who is he? My aunt's close friend's son is a diplomat. What's wrong? Ningxi answered casually. Jiang Mai murmured, Nothing. I just feel weird. Is he interested in you? I'm not RMB. He has seen all kinds of beautiful women in the world. How can he be so ignorant? Ningxi was happily and sweetly texting Lu Tingxiao. Hearing this, she said without looking up. Chapter 1938. Jiang Mai still felt that something was wrong. This person spoke flawlessly, and the way he looked at Ningxi was very normal. But because it was so normal, he felt that something was amiss. Jiang Mai was about to ask further when he saw the text that Ningxi had sent to Lu Tingxiao. Sweetheart, our names will always be together as long as we live. Damn it. Forget it. What was he worrying about? Why was he worrying about this when he was being abused like a dog? This bastard only had eyes for her sweetheart now. Even if other species' eyes were glued to her, she probably wouldn't know. Dear Town. Lu Tingxiao looked at the text on his phone, his eyes full of tenderness. After a while, he got up and went upstairs. When Lu Tingxiao went downstairs again, Lu Jingli's orange juice slanted and spilled all over his pants. His eyes almost popped out. Ow. So handsome. So handsome. His brother was wearing the suit that Ningxi had bought for him. It was unique and bright. Ningxi's aesthetic taste had always been flashy. Wearing it on his brother, it made him look like a completely different person. Damn. Brother. Where are you going dressed like this at night? Lu Jingli asked excitedly. Lu Tingxiao tidied up his sleeves and said, Take care of Xiaobao. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Lu Jingli immediately burst into tears and bit his finger. Are you going on a date with sister-in-law? Sob sob sob. Yeah, Lu Tingxiao admitted directly. Lu Jingli. The miserable life he had expected had really begun. Lu Jingli held his wounded heart. Where are you going? How long will you be gone? When will you come back? Will you still love me when you come back? Lu Tingxiao glanced at his brother out of the corner of his eye. There are sweet and sour spare ribs in the fridge. His spare ribs? His wife-protecting brother's cooking skills were getting better and better, almost surpassing his sister-in-law's. Ow. His brother still loved him. The little koi, who had been comforted by the sweet and sour spare ribs, immediately changed its tune. Ow. Got it. I'll take care of the child at home. Go. Have fun. It's okay if you come back later. And he felt that with his brother's ability, he definitely wouldn't come back tomorrow morning. He was too selfless. Where else could one find such a younger brother? Backstage of the banquet, Ningxi changed into a lovely pink dress and came out. Nephew, you can go by yourself. Aunt, I have an appointment tonight. Jiang Mai's eyes were filled with jealousy. He snorted and said, Who wants to be with you? I have a date too. Oh, then have fun. Bye-bye. Looking at the receding figure, the angry expression on Jiang Mai's face receded like the tide. He lowered his head like a lonely large dog. I am so handsome. Couldn't he see it at all? There was no fairness in love. Roar. Sweetheart, you are so handsome. The moment Ningxi saw Lu Tingxiao in the driver's seat, she threw herself at him. The man kissed the girl's forehead gently. His eyes were filled with warmth. It might be a little far. You can sleep on the way. I'll wake you up when we arrive. Ningxi looked expectant. Where are you taking me? Lu Tingxiao didn't answer. He coughed softly and looked a little unnatural. It was rare to see such an expression on Lu Tingxiao's face. Ningxi rolled her eyes and became even more curious. Chapter 1939. Well, what would the devil's surprise be? Ningxi had wanted to stay with Lu Tingxiao, but because she had been busy all night, she finally fell asleep. When she woke up, the car had already stopped. Oh, have we arrived? Ningxi rubbed her eyes. Just as she was about to open her eyes, a pair of warm hands covered her eyes. Close your eyes first. Ningxi immediately became sober. She nodded obediently, her heart beating faster. The car door opened. Her waist was protected by a hand, and she was carefully led forward step by step. The soles of her feet felt soft. It should be mud. The air was filled with the fragrance of plants. The night breeze was cool, and she could hear the rustling sound. It sounded familiar. Although her eyes were closed and there was only darkness in front of her, because of the familiar aura and warmth beside her, she trusted him wholeheartedly and sensed everything around her. After walking for a long time, the feeling under her feet changed from mud to wooden planks. There was nothing under her feet. It should be a wooden bridge. You can open your eyes now. She heard the man's deep voice. Ningxi stopped and slowly opened her eyes. Then her dark pupils suddenly dilated. What he saw was actually a large and lush bamboo forest. The rustling sound just now was the sound of the wind blowing through the bamboo forest. There were fireflies floating around in the bamboo forest. It was like a dream. The river under her feet reflected thousands of stars, and they were leaning against each other. In the depths of the bamboo forest, There was a simple and unadorned courtyard. At the moment, it was lit with a warm light. What shocked her even more was, this was the bamboo forest in the spring breeze town of Sea City. That night, she was drugged. When they were chatting, she mentioned the bamboo forest. She said that if she could have sex with the person she loved here, it would be a romantic bamboo forest. There were no buildings here. That small courtyard definitely didn't exist before. Even the fireflies in the bamboo forest used to be there, but there were very few of them. Since when did he start preparing? Ningxi couldn't describe her feelings at the moment. This man, who was always serious, old-fashioned, and boring, was doing things that he was completely not good at, for her sake. Do you like it? The man's voice was obviously nervous. The moment his voice fell, a pair of lips that were as soft as the petals of early spring covered his slightly cold and thin lips. Lu Tingxiao's back suddenly stiffened. He tightened his grip on the girl's waist and kissed her deeply. When did you start preparing? Ningxi asked. I don't remember. When you were asleep, Lu Tingxiao replied. Ningxi's heart was filled with sweetness and sourness. Thank you, I like it very much, very much. Lu Tingxiao coughed lightly. I was going to do it here. Although Lu Tingxiao didn't finish, Ningxi immediately understood. How could her sweetheart be willing to mistreat her? She was probably preparing to do it here for the first time after their wedding, but because she had subdued and pounced on her in the office, her plan was ruined. Ningxi chuckled. As long as I'm with you, it doesn't matter. We still have a lifetime ahead of us. We can still try many places in the future. The man pulled the girl into his arms. Ningxi raised her head and blinked her eyes. Her eyes were filled with little stars. Sweetheart, are we going to try here today? Chapter 1940. The man's voice was a little tense as he said in a low voice. Next time, it's too late today. Have a good rest. Ningxi didn't know what to say. Did he really bring her here in the middle of the night just to give her a surprise? Ningxi rolled her eyes, took Lu Tingxiao's hand and walked towards the small courtyard in the bamboo forest. Oh, okay. Rest. Let's rest together. You must be tired after driving for so long. Humph. Once I've abducted him to bed, will I still be afraid that I won't be able to eat him? Why did she suddenly realize that she was completely seducing a pure little white rabbit? After the two stepped into the room, Ningxi's eyes were filled with amazement again. The ceiling of the master bedroom was completely made of glass. Lying on the bed, one could see the starry sky. Outside the window, one could hear the wind blowing through the bamboo forest. The bed was shaped like a bird's nest. The pure white mattress was as soft as a cloud. However, none of this was as beautiful as the person beside him. Lu Tingxiao stood in front of the bed, unbuttoning his collar one by one. Ningxi held her chin and watched without blinking. Sure enough, there would be no harm without comparison. What did she count for? If those people saw the great demon king unbuttoning, wouldn't they go crazy? Also, if they were to find out that the nation's husband number 1 and number 2 had already been internally digested. Lu Tingxiao had just taken off his coat and changed his clothes when he saw Ningxi lying on the bed waiting for him. Seeing him turn around, she even stretched out her small hand and patted the spot next to her, looking like she wanted everyone to sleep together. However, the light in her eyes had completely betrayed her. The corners of Lu Tingxiao's lips curled into a smile. He leaned over and stroked the girl's chin with his fingers. Aren't you tired? Ningxi shook her head like a rattle drum. Come on, when I see you flirting with me like this, even if I'm exhausted, I'll be able to recover on the spot. Lu Tingxiao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Was he flirting with her? The man caressed the girl's soft hair. I'm older than you. One day, I'll lose my attraction to you. Oh my. Even the great demon king had times when he felt insecure. Ningxi raised her eyebrows. So what? There were many handsome young men in the entertainment industry. But could being handsome make a living? Anyway, no matter how handsome they are not as handsome as me. She was officially the number 1 player, okay? Lu Tingxiao. This reason generally women would comfort them by saying that they would grow old one day. Perhaps only Ningxi would say that no matter how handsome he was not as handsome as her. and no one could refute her. However, Lu Tingxiao loved her arrogant look very much. Yes, what Madam said makes sense. The man chuckled and bent over, his slender fingers covering the girl's collar. The design of Ningxi's clothes had a row of 10 buttons on the neckline, and each button was small and delicate, very difficult to undo. Lu Tingxiao kissed her forehead, nose, lips, collarbone, and every inch of her skin. At the same time, he undid them one by one. His fingers occasionally brushed past them with a numbing electric current. It was so slow that it was torturous. The first time, he had hurt her too much. The second time, he had been too hasty. This time, he wanted to give her the best experience. This man, even if he was not good at something, as long as he was willing to do it, he could do it to the extreme. Just like tonight. Chapter 1941. The next day, while the bamboo forest was filled with the sweetness of spring breeze, in the outside world, the news about Ningxi's crushing victory over Han Zixuan on Starlight Night had spread everywhere. Starlight Night, Ningxi slaughters the list. Peerless demon kills both men and women. Ningxi returns like a king. Where will the fake goddess go? Rumor has it that many investors in the world have collectively withdrawn their investment. Sensational reports appeared on the headlines of major entertainment companies in an unstoppable trend. Ningxi quickly returned to the public's attention with a momentum that was no less than that of the past. Qin Shuang, who had acted with Ningxi and Jiang Mai on Starlight Night, and played the role of Christine, the female lead of The Phantom, also became famous overnight because of her extremely solid professional skills and outstanding performance. At the same time, the news of the change in the senior management of Shengshi Entertainment, Yi Sudong's dismissal, and Lu Group's new CEO also spread in the industry. At that time, Yi Sudong was drunk in the bar, cursing everywhere, saying that without him, Shengshi Entertainment would immediately collapse. He said that he had single-handedly raised Han Zixuan, and that no one could surpass her. In the end, when he woke up, he saw that the entire entertainment industry had changed. After Ningxi's comeback press conference, she won Starlight Night, in an extremely stunning way, and also brought up Qin Shuang. Damn it. This woman actually brought the entire entertainment industry back to life with her own strength. Yi Sudong looked at the entertainment headlines full of Ningxi's name and fell onto the sofa, his face lifeless. Starlight Entertainment was shrouded in a dark cloud. This was not only a loss for Han Zixuan, but also a blow to the reputation of the entire entertainment industry. He had finally managed to trample on his arch-rival, Shengshi Entertainment, but in the end he was given a chance to rise from the dead. At the meeting, Wang Haojuan's face darkened. Inform everyone that the World Project is temporarily suspended. He didn't say the reason, but everyone knew that several investors were dissatisfied with Han Zixuan's popularity and performance, and had collectively withdrawn their investment overnight. Even Guo Qixing had resigned as the director. Zheng Anru's face was gloomy. I just got the news that the film that Zixuan and director Shen worked on has been confirmed to be banned. This meant that this film was completely scrapped. It had been shot for nothing, and all the plans to aim for an international award had gone up in smoke. After saying that, Zheng Anru looked angrily at the public relations director and scolded him without giving him any face. Zhao Wenliang, what the hell are you doing? Didn't I tell you to take care of the higher-ups? Nothing must go wrong with this film. Is your position as the public relations director just a decoration? He's simply a good-for-nothing. Zhao Wenliang sneered and slammed his resignation letter on the table. Sorry, I quit. Manager Zheng, since you're so capable, I'll have to trouble you to clean up your mess from now on. You? Zheng Anru was infuriated. This good-for-nothing. How could he leave at such a time? President Wang, are you going to do something about it? Damn it, at such a crucial time, CEO Ning wasn't even here. Wang Haojuan was already badly battered. All right, let's wait for the new PR director to come and take over. Then what about Zixuan now? Zheng Anru's face was full of anxiety. Our Zixuan has been infuriated by that bitch. Mr. Wang, you must think of a way. Chapter 1942. In fact, Han Zixuan was only unwilling to come to the company meeting because she was too embarrassed last night. Wang Haojuan was naturally aware of this, but he didn't expose her. He pinched his brows and said, "Release the news of Zixuan entering Hollywood immediately." Zheng Anru finally found some confidence and nodded immediately. "CEO Wang, you're right. No matter how powerful that Ning Shi is, she's only famous in China. Our Zixuan has only debuted for a year, and she's already received an olive branch from Hollywood's top producer, Juz." On the other hand, Ning Xuelua wasn't present at the meeting because Su Yan had called her this morning to ask her out for dinner. He said that he had something to tell her. They had known each other for so many years, and she could tell from Su Yan's tone. She had tried her best to please him these past few days, but to no avail. He was still determined to divorce her. He was probably going to have a showdown with her tonight. Ning Xuelua sat in front of the dressing table and looked at the exquisite makeup on her face, her nails digging into her palms. Downstairs. Why isn't Xuelua out yet? Didn't Su Yan ask her to talk about it tonight? Zheng Minjun glanced upstairs nervously from time to time. She obviously knew that her son would have a showdown with Ning Xuelua tonight. The thought of becoming in-laws with the Zhuang family made her even more confident in front of the madams. Naturally, she hoped that everything would go smoothly tonight. "Hongguang, do you think Xuelua will make a scene?" Su Hongguang pondered. "Of course she'll make a scene. But our Su family won't mistreat her." Zheng Minjun felt as if she had been stepped on. "What mistreat? She's been in our Su family for more than a year, and we haven't mistreated her at all. It's only our Su family that has been tricked by the Ning family, okay? It's not like you don't know what they say about us behind our backs. Just a few days ago, Shanshan's family dared to say that our Su Yan found a country bumpkin to be his in-laws in front of me. Can you bear to see our Su Yan be unable to hold his head up high in front of others for the rest of his life?" Su Hongguang looked helpless. "I didn't say anything. Why are you saying all this? Anyway, we must fully support Su Yan on this matter. If Xuelua really likes our Su Yan, she should think about his future." Zheng Minjun and Su Hongguang were talking softly downstairs. At this moment, a maid's panic scream came from upstairs. "Ah, young madam. What happened to you, young mistress? Wake up. Not good. Help. Someone come." Young mistress fainted. Along with the maid's sharp voice, the two people downstairs were immediately alarmed. "What's wrong? Xueluo fainted?" Zheng Minjun immediately frowned. Su Hongguang's expression also changed. The two of them rushed upstairs and saw Ning Xuelua unconscious next to the dressing table. The maid was so anxious that she was about to cry. "What's going on? Why did you suddenly faint?" Zheng Minjun hurriedly asked. The maid looked panicked. I don't know either. I just came in to deliver some clothes to young madam. And then I saw young madam fainting here." "What are you waiting for? Get the driver to prepare the car and send him to the hospital," Su Hongguang said in a low voice. Then she added, "Call Su Yan and ask him to come back." At this moment, Zheng Minjun's expression was very ugly, looking at the fainted Ning Xuelua. She wanted to say something but stopped herself. She muttered in her heart, "Fainted? Why did it have to be at this time?" Chapter 1943. At the hospital. Other than the Su family, Ning Yahua and Zhuang Lingyu had also arrived. Zhuang Lingyu looked displeased. What happened? How could a normal person faint just like that? Zheng Minjun saw that the Ning family had arrived as well. Especially when she saw Zhuang Lingyu's attitude. She was a little unhappy. It must have been that meddlesome maid who informed them. She just fainted. Was there a need to make such a fuss? Looking at Zhuang Lingyu's expression, it was as if the Su family had mistreated her. She didn't have the life of a rich lady, yet she acted as if she was a real rich lady. Thinking that the matter could have been resolved tonight, but such a big commotion had occurred. Zheng Minjun was very unhappy. She said coldly, "In-law, Xiaoling is making a big fuss out of nothing. Xueluo is probably just too tired. She will be fine after a short nap." Because of Ning Xuelua's family background, Zhuang Lingyu had been mocked by Zheng Minjun many times. Naturally, she hated Ning Xuelua now. She said angrily, You think it's a small matter when you fainted? Our Shueluo was always pampered and pampered at home. But now that she's in the Su family, this is how you treat her? At this moment, Su Hongguang coughed lightly to smooth things over. In-law, you've misunderstood. You all know how we treat Shueluo. If you don't believe me, you can ask Shueluo. Shueluo's company probably had a lot of problems recently, that's why she's so tired. Anyway, let's stop arguing. Let's wait for the results from the doctor. Ning Yahua said with a good temper. That's right. Shueluo's health is more important. After all, if the relationship with the Su family was strained, it would not be good for Shueluo or Ning Family International. On the other side, Su Yan had already followed the doctor to get the diagnosis report. Doctor, how's the patient? Is it serious? Su Yan asked. The female doctor walked out with the diagnosis report and congratulated him happily. She's fine, it's a good thing. Congratulations, Mr. Su. Mrs. Su is pregnant. The moment the doctor said that, Su Yan's face turned blank. He seemed to be unable to believe what he had just heard. Doctor, what did you say? Pregnant? The female doctor thought that Su Yan was overjoyed and quickly smiled. Yes, she's 8 weeks pregnant, almost 3 months. Su Yan was stunned and his face turned pale. He had been busy for so many days. He had hired a professional lawyer and drafted the divorce agreement. He was just waiting for today to speak to Shueluo. He hoped that after today he could regain his freedom and go find Ningxi. He had never expected that before he could even open his mouth, he actually found out about Shueluo's pregnancy. Su Yan didn't know how he walked out with the report. He felt as if his entire body was submerged in a cold pond, and the coldness was bone-piercing. Su Yan, what happened to Shueluo? Say something. Su Yan only regained his senses when he heard Zhuang Lingyu's question. He took a deep breath and forced himself to regain his senses. Shueluo is fine. She's pregnant. What? You're saying that Shueluo is pregnant? Zhuang Lingyu's face was instantly filled with surprise. That's great. This is great. When Ning Yahua heard this, his face was also full of excitement. You've been married for more than a year, and you finally have a child. Where is Shueluo? I'll go see her now. Chapter 1944. Zhuang Lingyu and Ning Yahua were completely immersed in their happiness. They were busy checking on Ning Shueluo, so they did not notice the strange expressions on the faces of the 3 people from the Su family. After the 2 entered the ward, Zheng Minjun cursed in a low voice. Did the hospital make a mistake? Why did she have to be pregnant now? Su Yan is preparing to divorce her. What if she's pregnant now? Su Hongguang frowned and looked at his wife. Keep your voice down. He had a complicated expression on his face. On one hand, it was a pity. On the other hand, the child in Shueluo's belly was the flesh and blood of the Su family. After so long, the Su family finally had an heir. Then tell me what we should do now. Zheng Minjun said anxiously. The golden phoenix that was in her hands was gone just like that. Even a grandchild could not make her happy. After all, she would have a grandchild sooner or later. It made a big difference whose belly it came from. Su Yan's mind was blank. He did not say a word. In the end, Su Hongguang said in a low voice, let's discuss the divorce at length. Don't bring it up now, especially when the in-laws are here. If he brought up the divorce now, the Ning family would turn the world upside down. Zheng Minjun knew this too. No matter how unwilling she was, she could only let it be. In the ward. Dad, Mom, why are you here? What happened to me? Ning Shueluo slowly woke up. She looked confused. Zhuang Lingyu held Ning Shueluo's hand happily. Shueluo, you're pregnant. You're going to be a mother. Ning Shueluo was stunned for a second. Then, her face was filled with disbelief. Really? Mom, I'm pregnant? The doctor said it. How could it be wrong? You were too careless. You only found out after 3 months. You even fainted at home. That's so worrying. Zhuang Lingyu reprimanded her with a pained expression. Mom, I'm sorry. Zhuang Lingyu seemed to have thought of something. Her expression turned cold. Why are you sorry? Don't think I don't know. It's all because of that stupid girl. Otherwise, why would you work so hard? She was afraid that these troubles would disturb her. She quickly comforted her. Your most important task now is to take care of the baby. Leave the company to someone else. Nothing is more important than your health and your child. And Mom, I got it. Then Su Hongguang and Zheng Minjun walked in and said a few words of concern. Then everyone left, leaving Su Yan and Ning Xuelua alone. When there were only the two of them left in the ward, Ning Xuelua's face was filled with embarrassment and joy. Brother Yan, we finally have a child. I'm so happy. Su Yan looked at the girl lying on the hospital bed, who was ignorant of the world and knew nothing about it. She was happy that she was pregnant with his child, and his heart was full of struggle. On the two ends of the scale, one was the true love that he had finally found, and the other was the girl who had accompanied him for so many years. He had already made up his mind to give Ningxi a status, but at this moment, facing Ning Xuelua who was already pregnant, he really couldn't say the word divorce. I'm also very happy, but it's too dangerous for you to be like this today. From now on, have a good rest and leave everything else to me. I'll handle it for you, Su Yan said. Ning Xuelua's eyes flashed with a hint of joy. She snuggled into the man's arms and said, Thank you, Brother Yan. Chapter 1945. The next day, the news of Han Zixuan entering Hollywood began to dominate the headlines. Han Zixuan confirmed to star in the classic Hollywood blockbuster, The Killer. Hollywood's #1 producer, Jack Reese's epic masterpiece The Killer, uses a Chinese character, Han Zixuan, Hollywood's Hua Nation. The movie The Killer had swept all the major awards in Hollywood 20 years ago and had been repeated for countless times. It was a classic in the hearts of all movie fans. As soon as the news of the remake came out, it received a lot of attention. The plot of the movie was also in line with Hollywood's usual style. The female lead, Anna, was trained by an assassin organization since she was a child, and was eventually assigned a mission by the organization to assassinate the leader of a prominent family. The story was about the conspiracy and love between her and the resourceful male lead. No matter what role Han Zixuan got, even if it was just an insignificant cannon fodder, as long as she entered the cast of The Killer and showed her face in the movie, her status would definitely rise in the future. The worst thing was, according to Hollywood's usual style, they rarely chose two actors from Hua Nation. That meant that if I, Han Zixuan, successfully acted in The Killer, the probability of Ningxi entering the cast of The Killer would be reduced by at least half. At Shengshi Entertainment, Su Tao stared at the press release with anger in his eyes. Show off my ass. My queen has already entered Hollywood a year ago, okay? Liang Feixing glanced at him. It's a pity it hasn't been released yet. Su Tao snapped. But we can't just watch them do this, can we? Liang Feixing narrowed his eyes. I've asked around. The audition for the role in The Killer will officially start in a week. Han Zixuan is internally confirmed and I heard that she's willing to pay nothing for the role. Now they're trying to pressure Ningxi, so they've already revealed the news before the audition. Su Tao's eyes lit up. If Ningxi goes for the audition, she'll definitely win. Liang Feixing's expression didn't look optimistic. Since it's already been internally confirmed, and Xing Hui has made such a big announcement, it must be in the bag. This role is not easy to fight for. The point is, I don't think it's necessary. A few seconds of footage and one line. Su Tao immediately agreed. That's true. Anyone with a bit of experience would know that it's degrading. They're just trying to rub their faces. I don't think Ningxi would be willing either. Ningxi has more than 10 minutes of scenes in Thunderbolt. At this moment, the office door was pushed open. Ningxi walked in. It's okay. I can go for the audition. Su Tao frowned. But, since we've already come this far, we naturally can't give up halfway. Moreover, this was Hitman. Even if it was just a few seconds of screen time, it was worth it. I'm actually a loyal fan of this movie. I'll fulfill my wish this time, Ningxi said. Su Tao was moved to tears when he saw how considerate his goddess was. Liang Feixing thought for a moment. Currently, it seemed that in order to surpass Han Zixuan, he had no choice but to snatch this role. Otherwise, not only would all his previous efforts be in vain, but the effects would also be greatly reduced. Foreign monks were fond of chanting scriptures, and the people of China still had a natural sense of reverence for Hollywood. It seems like that's the only way. I'll try to gather as much information as I can about the crew, Liang Feixing said. Chapter 1946. Su Tao said, I'll arrange the audition. They chose Han Zixuan for the Hua market, but Ningxi did not lose to her in terms of popularity. As long as Ningxi was willing, it was not impossible for her to snatch the role. Ningxi said, all right. After that, Ningxi began to prepare for the audition that would take place a week later. In fact, the role was just a passerby. It was not even as good as the character in Charlie's Secret Service. However, the assassin was a cinnabar mole in Ningxi's heart, especially the role of the female lead, Anna, which was one of her favorite roles. Let's take this opportunity to study the classic once more. A week later, the audition for assassin had begun. Ningxi and Su Tao arrived at the audition venue on time. As the manager and assistant were not allowed in, Su Tao gave Ningxi a pep talk and waited outside. Ningxi swept her gaze across the crowd. Most of the people present were A-listers. However, even though they were A-listers, their statuses were uneven. The only thing these people had in common was that they were highly talked about and popular. It was obvious that the production team had chosen the Chinese character for the Hua market. In the waiting room, many of the artists went up to greet Ningxi politely. The entertainment industry was used to stepping on the high and flattering the low. Ningxi had been in the limelight recently, so naturally there would be people trying to curry favor with her. However, due to the tense relationship with Golden Era, a few of the artists from Starlight watched coldly from the corner and whispered, Ningxi is here too. Doesn't she know that today's audition is just a formality? Zixuan has already been selected. She's not even here today. Of course she won't give up. This is the audition for assassin. The best in Hollywood. How could she not be here when she's fighting against Han Zixuan? In terms of resources, Zixuan has Starlight behind her, so Ningxi can't catch up to her. She's doing well in Hua with her previous foundation, but it's going to be hard for her to move up. She might seem to be ahead of Han Zixuan, but she's actually at the end of her rope. I think even Yin Yuyu, who went to Starlight, has a brighter future than her. Amidst the whispers, a Chinese female staff walked over and announced the start of the audition. Please enter in order. Because Ningxi signed up late, she was the last one. Although they knew it was just a formality, it was inevitable that they would get lucky. The female artists waiting for the audition began to tidy up their makeup nervously. But gradually the anticipation on everyone's faces faded, because as the number was continuously being called, the average time for each artist to enter was less than 10 seconds. Some even came out after 3 to 5 seconds. What kind of audition was this? Even looking at his face for 3 to 5 seconds was not enough. Damn. Hollywood was too straightforward in their dealings. Going through the motions was really going through the motions. Aren't you pretending at all? It's already good enough that they're willing to organize an audition for such a big shot. What else do you want? After all, the people auditioning are all big shots in Hollywood. Today, I'll just take it as seeing them in person and widen my horizons. The number was being called faster and faster. In less than 10 minutes, it was Ningxi's turn. Chapter 1947. Hearing Ningxi's name being called, some of the artists who hadn't left all looked at her with sympathy in their eyes. She was a superstar in the past, but now she had to come here to try her luck, knowing that the role had already been decided. Ningxi ignored those people's gazes and went straight into the audition room under the guidance of a staff member. As Liang Feixing had heard, among the 3 people who came for the audition today, only one of the assistant directors had a high position. A legendary figure like Juz might not even appear in the audition, let alone audition for such a small role. After seeing Ningxi, the assistant director was quite polite. Miss Ningxi. Yes, hello. Miss Ningxi is really an oriental beauty, as the rumor says. The assistant director's eyes lit up. Obviously, he had a good first impression of Ningxi. If it weren't for the fact that this role had already been decided to cooperate with Xing Hui, it would be a good choice to use this girl. I'm flattered. The assistant director nodded with a complicated look. Okay, you can go back and wait for the notice. It was as short as expected. However, from the assistant director's expression, there was still a chance. In fact, after Ningxi left, there was indeed a debate and discussion in the room. What do you think? The assistant director asked in a low voice. One of them said, This Miss Ningxi is really elegant, and her popularity in Hua Nation is comparable to that of Han Zixuan. However, as far as I know, she just came back after a year. At present, she doesn't have many resources and her future development is unpredictable. I think it's better to use Han Zixuan. The other person disagreed. Equally matched? Mike, this Miss Ningxi is a powerful actress. You should go and see her mother. Devitt, this role doesn't require strength, and it has nothing to do with the actor himself. It only needs popularity and a strong background. Only in this way can we maximize the market in Hua Nation. Shengshi Entertainment has been taken over by Lu Enterprises, and its potential is still unknown. Mike, it's too early to judge. You said it's unknown. We don't need to take risks. Outside the door, when the others saw Ningxi's audition was so fast, they all showed an expression of I knew it, and many of them gloated. Everyone finally saw the result they wanted to see, and they finally dispersed in satisfaction. At this moment in the audition room, the assistant director was having a headache from their quarrel. If it really didn't work, it would be better to wait for the video data to be sent back, and let the higher-ups make a decision. Their audition was broadcasted to all the other executives remotely, but those big shots might not have the time to watch it immediately, or they might not even pay attention to it. Just then, the female staff member with a Hua face suddenly pushed open the door in a hurry and looked at the assistant director, asking, Director, where is Miss Ningxi? We just left. What's wrong? The assistant director was puzzled. The female staff looked flustered. Mr. Jiz wants to see her. What did you say? Mr. Jiz wants to see her in person? The assistant director stood up in shock. Not to mention the other two crew members next to him, who all looked as if they had seen a ghost. Chapter 1948. Jiz never showed up in public. Even they had never seen Jiz in person, including the assistant director. She should not be far away. I'll call her right away. The assistant director said. No, I'll go after her myself. The female staff hurriedly said. Ningxi, how did it go? Su Tao, who was waiting outside the door, asked nervously when he saw Ningxi come out. Ningxi thought about her words. The chance should be 50-50. It's not bad. Just leave the rest to me and Liang Feixing. This time, Su Tao and Ningxi were talking and walking towards the parking lot. Suddenly, there was a rush of footsteps behind them. Miss Ningxi, please wait. Ningxi turned around and was surprised to see that it was the staff of the crew. Miss Linda. Hello, Miss Ningxi. Linda gasped, covering her chest. Hello. Ningxi nodded with a smile and cast an inquiring look at her, wondering why she caught up with her again. Well, Miss Ningxi, our producer wants to invite you to discuss the plot. The staff was very polite. Ningxi paused and asked tentatively, Producer? You mean Mr. Jiz? Yes, Mr. Jiz. Hearing her affirmative answer, not only Ningxi, but also Su Tao was stunned. Jiz wants to see our Ningxi in person? Then, what's the matter? Su Tao hurriedly thought about his words and asked. Yes, Mr. Jiz wants to see Miss Ningxi in person, but I don't know what he wants to talk about. Miss Ningxi, you'll know when you get there. The woman answered with a smile and looked a little nervous, as if she was afraid that she would mess up and fail to bring Ningxi there in time. Ningxi and Su Tao exchanged a glance. Although Ningxi was famous in China, she was not worth mentioning in the eyes of people like Jiz in Hollywood. They didn't even know of her existence. Ningxi didn't expect that the man would want to see her. She just wanted to try her luck. In the end, Su Tao made a prompt decision and said, Then I'll have to trouble you to lead the way, miss. Okay, please follow me. The woman was relieved. In the car about half an hour later, Ningxi followed the woman into a rather high-end private club. Outside the private room, the woman said to Su Tao, "Sir, please wait outside for a moment." After that, he made a pleased gesture to Ningxi and opened the door for her. "Thank you." Ningxi thanked him, took a deep breath, and walked into the room. In the private room, a white-haired old man had been waiting for a long time. The old man was deep in thought. When he heard the sound at the door, he immediately raised his head and looked in Ningxi's direction. Ningxi had already mentally prepared herself on the way, so she looked calm at the moment. "Hello, Mr. Juz." While speaking, Ningxi couldn't help but look at the old man in front of her. He had a standard European face, but he was a little older, about 80 years old, and looked very kind. Juz's fame was unimaginable. However, Juz was equally mysterious. No media magazine dared to put Juz on the cover. Chapter 1949. Even though Ningxi often paid attention to Juz's news, she had never seen Juz's face. The old man stared at Ningxi and seemed to have thought of something. For a moment he was in a daze and his pupils constricted. After a while the old man said, "Miss Ningxi, please sit down." Ningxi nodded and sat down. She didn't know his intentions, so she could only wait for him to speak. Besides, she was really too nervous and didn't know what to say. After all, the person in front of her was a Hollywood legend, a figure that only existed in her imagination. But now, the person in front of her was a living person. The old man's eyes were sharp as if he could see through people's hearts. However, when he looked at Ningxi, he didn't feel pressured at all. He said kindly, "Sorry, I called you here in a hurry, because I just saw your audition materials." "It doesn't matter." "But Mr. Juz, why are you looking for me?" Ningxi was puzzled. "I hope you can play the role of Anna in The Killer, Miss Ningxi," Juz replied. Although Ningxi had thought of countless possibilities, she was still stunned when she heard Juz's answer. "Anna?" Juz wanted to invite her to play the role of Anna. Anna was the leading actress of this movie. Juz continued, "Back then my daughter, Caroline, was the screenwriter and female lead in the movie The Killer." Hearing this, Ningxi was shocked again. It turned out that Miss Caroline, the leading actress and screenwriter of The Killer, was Juz's daughter. At this moment, knowing that Juz was Caroline's father, although she was curious, she didn't dare to ask too much. "Unfortunately, my daughter, Caroline, passed away from a serious illness while on a trip. It's been a few years since she passed away. That's why I wanted to remake this film as a way to remember my daughter." The old man's expression was a little gloomy. Hearing this, Ningxi immediately revealed an extremely surprised expression. When she watched the first version of The Killer, she liked the role of the killer played by Caroline very much. However, Caroline had only acted in one movie, The Assassin. After that, she disappeared without a trace, and there was no news about her. She never expected that Caroline had passed away. It was the first time that Ningxi had heard about the story behind The Killer. "My condolences." For a moment, Ningxi didn't know what to say. The old man looked disappointed and then said, "So I value this role very much. I hope you can do your best, Miss Ningxi." Was he completely sure that she was going to act? The pie that fell from the sky was too big, and she was dumbfounded. Ningxi couldn't help but ask, "As far as I know, Miss Lillian has already been confirmed as the female lead of this drama?" Just said, "It's not confirmed, it's just a preliminary screening. And today, I think your temperament and image are very suitable for this role, Miss Ningxi." I believe Miss Ningxi also knows that part of the shooting location is in Hualand. Actually, Caroline's mother is Chinese, and Caroline has lived in China since she was young. That's why the movie was shot in China. After saying that, the old man sank into deep thought, as if he had thought of something that was worth recalling. "Ningxi. I see." Chapter 1950. Besides, I believe in Martin's judgment. Juz said. "Director Martin." It had been a long time. Ningxi paused and then realized who Juz was talking about. Martin was the director of Thunderbolt, which she had starred in a year ago. There were too many special effects in the show, so it hadn't been released yet. because of Zhe's explanation and the fact that he mentioned director Martin, Ningxi finally digested such a big piece of pie. After that, Ningxi chatted with Zhe about some minor changes in the movie and her understanding of the plot, and then left in the evening. Even when she walked out of the room, Ningxi still didn't feel it was real. She had just wanted to play a minor role, but she had not only met the legendary Zhe, but also been appointed as the female lead by him. My great aunt, you've finally come out. What happened? What did Mr. Zhe say to you? Why did you leave for so long? He wouldn't have done anything to you, right? Su Tao's expression was as if he was a worried mother. Ningxi was speechless. Nonsense. Mr. Zhe asked me to play the role of Anna. Fuck. What? Su Tao almost bit his own tongue. Su Tao had watched the most famous classic movie in Hollywood many times, so he knew that the name of the female lead was Anna, who was also one of the most brilliant roles in the history of Hollywood movies. Say it again. What role did Mr. Zhe ask you to play? The female killer. Ningxi said expressionlessly. Su Tao was stunned for about 3 seconds before he came to his senses. He looked excited. You got the role of the female killer, Anna? My queen, please don't joke with me. My heart is not very good. In the entire Chinese entertainment circle, there were many superstars who had entered Hollywood, but none of them could play the female lead. The reason why Hollywood looked for actors from Hua was that most of the roles were not important in Hua supermarkets. It was complete nonsense for a Chinese actress to get the role of the female lead in Hollywood. Even the top A-list superstars would find it extremely difficult to get an important role in Hollywood. Up until now, Song Lin was the only one in the entire Hua nation who had done it. However, the director of that film was Chinese, so most of the actors used were Chinese. Ningxi had expected Su Tao's reaction. She shrugged and said, "Pinch yourself. If we're not dreaming, then this is real. My queen, you are a miracle. You are the pride of the entire Chinese entertainment circle." What the hell? Su Tao was so excited that he couldn't speak coherently. In his entire life, he had never imagined that one of his artists would actually get the role of the female lead in Hollywood. He could brag about it for several lifetimes. What bullshit, Zheng Anru. She had been publicizing it everywhere. This time, it had become a huge joke. I'm going to inform the media and announce it to the world immediately. Su Tao immediately shook his head. No. Don't inform the media yet. Zheng Anru's side is in an uproar. When the shooting starts, there will definitely be a lot of media promoting it. We'll use the media from Zheng Anru's side. After a few days, when Zheng Anru and Han Zixuan were ready, Chapter 1951. Ningxi shook her head helplessly. This was indeed Su Tao's style. This move was truly insidious. Ningxi, how did you get chosen? Or was it Zhe's? Su Tao followed her and asked hurriedly. So Ningxi told Su Tao the details of the process again, and Su Tao listened without blinking his eyes. After leaving the private club, Ningxi returned to Deer Town. After chatting with Zhe for a long time, Ningxi finally understood why some of the actors were cast in China. According to Zhe, his youngest daughter, Caroline, liked China very much, and the setting and plot of The Killer were also in China. Of course, after the shooting of the movie officially started, she still had to go to other countries with the crew to continue the shooting. How was it? Lu Tingxiao asked. The old Hollywood movie The Killer had once been a sensation. Lu Tingxiao had seen it and knew how much Ningxi liked it. She even studied the script for a long time for a small supporting role. Sob, sweetheart. It's not going well. I wasn't chosen for the role I was auditioning for. Ningxi cried and threw herself at him, begging for comfort. Lu Tingxiao felt sorry for her and comforted her softly. However, as soon as he finished speaking, he saw the girl raise her head like a little fox. There was no trace of sadness in her eyes. Although I didn't get chosen for the role in the audition, the producers wanted me to play the role of the female killer. Hearing Ningxi's words, even Lu Tingxiao was surprised. He had thought that Ningxi didn't get the role. Unexpectedly, she got the role of the female lead. In Hollywood, the status of Chinese was very low. It was hard to get a supporting role, let alone the female lead. Sweetheart, did you know that my idol invited me to meet him today? Ningxi looked excited. Just, Lu Tingxiao asked. How did you know? Ningxi curled her lips. She wanted to show off to Lu Tingxiao. Who else can make you so excited except Juz? Lu Tingxiao said affectionately. What he liked most was the way her eyes lit up when she talked about work. Mr. Juz is really gentlemanly and kind. He's different from what I imagined. He's just like an ordinary kind grandfather. And you know what? The female lead, Caroline, turned out to be Juz's daughter. It's a pity that Caroline has already passed away. Ningxi's expression was full of regret, but at the same time, she was even more determined to act this movie well. Sweetheart, I'm going to do my best in this movie. Of course, madam. As Lu Tingxiao spoke, he seemed to have thought of something. His deep eyes flashed with an imperceptible glint. The efficiency of the killer was very high. Soon they informed Ningxi to go there for a makeup test. That day Ningxi arrived early. In the dressing room, a white man with Western beauty walked up to Ningxi and sized her up with his blue eyes. You're Ningxi, the actress from Hua Nation. The white girl smiled. Hello, I'm Ningxi, Ningxi replied politely. I've heard of you. It seems that you've been in Hollywood before and acted in a movie, the one that just came out recently? The white girl reached out to Ningxi. Chapter 1952. Ningxi was familiar with the Caucasian girl in front of her. She was a famous actress in Hollywood. The cast of The Killer was very luxurious. The male lead was played by Hollywood Best Actor Steve Will. Because of the long talk with Juz yesterday, Ningxi knew the current cast. The Caucasian girl would play the assistant of the male lead in The Killer. You are so awesome. You can play the role of the female killer, and have a lot of scenes with Wadey. The Caucasian girl looked envious. Although the outside world didn't know anything, the news that the female lead had been changed to a Chinese actress had caused a stir. Even Ningxi herself believed that she got the role of the female lead by great luck. After all, Ningxi had almost no idea about the role of the female lead in The Killer. However, since she had got it, she would naturally do her best. But Miss Ningxi, you have to be careful. The Caucasian girl looked around and lowered her voice. Careful. Ningxi was puzzled. The Caucasian girl nodded and said softly. The film company had originally decided on the role of the first female lead. Lillian was supposed to be the main lead, but later, the film company issued a notice to replace the first female lead with you. Now Lillian has been replaced with the second female villain. Lillian was the most popular Best Actress in Hollywood in recent years. When The Killer was going to be shot again, they had already contacted Lillian. After the audition, Lillian was confirmed to be the leading actress. However, with Ningxi's arrival, the decision of the film company suddenly changed. It was said that even many senior executives didn't know why they suddenly changed the leading actress. Everyone was very curious about Ningxi. The Caucasian girl seemed to be afraid of Lillian, so she just told Ningxi to be careful. Ningxi had already known about this and specially asked Juz about it, so she didn't take it seriously. The role of the leading actress in The Killer was decided by the producer Juz. It had nothing to do with her, and she didn't snatch it. She had a clear conscience and would do her best. What the hell? Lillian's role as the female lead has been replaced by a Chinese actress. I don't know what the producers are thinking. I've heard that the Chinese actress is called Ningxi. Although she is famous in China, she is not qualified to be in Hollywood at all. Soon 2 black girls came into the dressing room. The eyes of the 2 black girls instantly fell on Ningxi. One of the black girls looked at Ningxi and sneered. It's really not easy for a Chinese actor to make a name for himself in Hollywood. No matter how many Hollywood movies you've acted in, you still have to leave in the end. There are always people who want to make a living in Hollywood, but in the end, it seems like none of them can stay. The 2 black girls were obviously talking to Ningxi. Before the 2 girls could say anything else, the makeup artists from the crew finally arrived. Hello everyone, we are the makeup artists of the production team. Today the production team asked us to help everyone try on the costumes. The middle-aged woman in the lead had a smile on her face. Hearing this, The two black girls stopped talking, sat on the chair, and looked at themselves in the mirror. Hello, Miss Ningxi. My name is Lisa. I'm your makeup artist. The middle-aged woman walked to Ningxi and introduced herself. Hello, thank you. Ningxi nodded. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.